Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zulhilmi bin Abdul Malik. So I will be presenting assignment 1 for today. So the first is the site plan for the house, which is the house is located at residence of Taman Tasik Tambahan under the City Ampang, Selangor. So this area is highly populated with society of B40 and the house was mostly in terrace and flat. So this is the ground floor plan and the first floor plan. So the principle, the relationship between man and character. So the first is the respect for knowledge and conscience of the character. The city as center of learning and civilization. Every bedroom has enough space to install study table for private study. There also has small library at living room for family member to read or keep their books there. There also has dining table as a study table for public study session together at living room. Next is the neighborhood unit based on educational institution. So there are many education institutions in my neighborhood, like primary school, high school, kindergarten, religious school, and tuition center. As to respond our comment on human for us compulsory to seek knowledge, and also there is a musalla, and the mosque also considered as educational institution. As such time there is held religious class for public to attend. Next is the conservation of environment. The house was planted with edible plants at the front and at the back of the house as the reminder for us to always rely on our Almighty and be thankful towards Him. Next is the translate the glory of the Creator through physical manifestation. The house contains windows, skylights, and louvers to allow the light enter the house for the better ventilation. The house also applied wind turbine ventilator to suck out the hot air more efficiently. The window at bedroom 4 and master bedroom 2 viewing the nature at the back house to appreciate the beauty of house creation. Next is justice. So the first is activities and element at the rightful and appropriate place. So the living one has enough space which appropriate for a family member to perform solah together. Plus it is not facing toilet. The toilet also at the appropriate place, which is at the kitchen, where it is generally private and the other toilets were designed within the bedroom space, making it privately usage for certain family member. Next is the formulation of policies and monitoring, facilitating development that I just. So it is compulsory for men and family to go to the mosque or musalla or praying in congregate at the house. It also should be home by before Maghrib and not went out in the middle of the night. It is also compulsory for the women to perform prayer early. Next is the balanced and equitable distribution of development. Due to high population in this neighborhood, a musalla and a mosque were provided to accommodate their population. The house shops and mosques were provided around my neighborhood for the daily supplement. Next is the provision of facilities to at least meet the minimum standard. The musalla and the mosque provided enough to accommodate the population there, of course. The neighborhood were designed with several playgrounds, more than enough for neighborhood to spend their evening there. Also, a petrol station sufficient for the nearby neighborhood. For the faraway neighborhood, another petrol station were provided for them. There's also plenty of shops and stores for the neighborhood to get their daily supplement. Next is the compassion. So the first is all planning and development decision and actions consider effects to the individual, society, and environment. All the neighborhood around here are crucial and important because it is near to the main city, which is Kuala Lumpur. So the development of neighborhood is due to the increasing of population. Next is the planning and design of buildings should produce art and beauty with high aesthetic values while reflecting religious and cultural heritage. But it is unfortunately there isn't any building with aesthetic nor heritage value, so the neighborhood is not an attraction place. Next is the provision of facilities beyond minimum standard. So the town hall at the neighborhood is merely a community place with no aesthetic values. So not an attraction for attraction. So not suitable for attraction place. The musalla and the mosque is merely for the community to perform salah. So no attraction or whatsoever. But it is suffice to accommodate the community to perform salah. Next is the trustworthy and credibility. So the first is the planning must based on actual facts. So the orientation of the house is in appropriate place as to respond with the sun orientation, where the front house is facing towards north. The glare will not directly into the house, and the plant still could receive the sunlight for the growth. Next is to give the individual his right without interfering on the interest of society. The facilities at the house is user friendly. All family member could use it, except for the children pool. Only for the children could use it. Next is the listening and accepting public opinion if it leads to a better living environment. There's a time where a few of wild dog has been lingering around the neighborhood, causing the caution for safety for them. Therefore, the residents took action reporting it to the responsible authorities. Next is the unity. It is first to provide development that enhance interaction. So the living room 1, in between the master bedroom 1 and the guest room is family area where family member will communicate each other, and there is no separating wall between living one and dining space. Next is to use authority symbol, image, and other elements that reflect unity. So we install the television at the living room 1 for activity family. Next principle is the relationship between man and environment. First is the cleanliness and beauty. The responsible authority will come to the neighborhood in the morning to trim off the grass to maintain the cleanliness of the neighborhood. The garbage truck will come to the neighborhood to collect the garbage for twice a week. And there is a lot of plantation in front of the house to enhance the beauty by nature. Next is the preservation of the environment and sustainable natural resources. The stream at the back of the house is to prevent the neighborhood from the flood. Installment of water filter for the can be used for family member. Next is the economy and effective use of resources. The edible garden were planted at the back house, can be picked when they are ripe and can be used for food supply family. The hill nearby, which is Saga Hill, used as advantage for attraction to the hiker and tourists because there is several tracks to the small waterfall there. Next principle is the relationship between man and man. So first is the respecting privacy and division space. So the frosted sliding door were installed at the kitchen. To give privacy space for the woman, especially when there is guests came over. Practicing knock the door first before entering a room for all family members. Highly prohibited for the boy and the girl to sleep in the same bedroom. And the girl's bedroom were installed with sharing toilet for privacy matter. Next, the master bedroom 2 have own toilet for family matter, which is my brother's family. Each of the windows were installed with curtain, and the kitchen to the dining space and dining space to the living one were not far for easier communicating. Master bedroom 1 for the parent located at the ground floor due to the age matter and more movable. Next is the value of encouraging interaction and acquaintance. So the installation of the television increasing the interaction between family members. Living room 1 used as the praying space to encourage the family to interact each other. The field and the playground around the neighborhood encourage the neighborhood to always interact each other. The musalla also could enhance the interaction since it is where most community will always gather to perform salah together. Next is the peace and security. There is no security guard at the neighborhood, but we install gate at the car porch and lock it to ensure our safety. Next is the cooperation and sensitivity and mutual respect. The neighborhood sometimes held an event like Jamuan Hari Raya at the playground. So to the conclusion, so the main and creator, the point for the respect for knowledge and conscience of the creator, which is 4/4, justice 4/4, compassion 2/3, trustworthy and credibility 2/3, and unity full of 2. So result in 14/16. Next is the main environment. The cleanliness and beauty is 1/1. Preservation of the environment and sustainable natural resources is 1/1, and the economic and effective use of resources is 0/1. So totally 2/3. The principle of man and man. So the respective privacy and division of space is 1/1. The value of growing interaction and acquaintance, full 1. Peace and security 1/1, but the respecting the rights of individual is 0/1. Cooperation and sensitivity and mutual respect 1/1, and constitution, which is 0/1. So full is 4/6, and full of the principal point, which is 20/25. So in conclusion, the neighborhood was score 20/25 points for the principal, which lacked 2 points in the relationship between man and creator. So the neighborhood lacked in compassion principles, which is the planning and design of building should produce art and beauty with high aesthetic values while reflecting religious and cultural heritage. The second lack is in the trustworthy and credibility principle, which is give individual his right without interfering on the interest of society. So as we could see the example in Al-Fatiha, as Allah the Rabb has created all life only to sujud to Him, solely worship to Him. Also Allah also has arranged Rububiyyah, the life of every living thing before they were created. Then every law, al-hukam, that has been told in the Quran and Sunnah, obligated for us to follow it, be a pious servant for Him. When a race completed the Rububiyyah, Ubudiyyah, Mulkiyah aspect, then the successful city will be built. Therefore, based on the neighborhood, the building around there should be built and designed to be close towards him, like applying Islamic architecture, for example, Mukarana that has the meaning behind it in the Musalla. Moreover, the neighborhood should not give the right to the individual because they could violate the peace in the neighborhood. For example, there is time where some stranger has been hanging out at the playground late night, which caused suspicious act, and could also they are littering the rubbish at there. So that's all from me. Thank you.